Good day, everyone. Welcome to the webinar titled Investment Opportunities in Renewable Energy, Solar Industry Outlook in Malaysia. This webinar is in conjunction with the ASEAN Energy and Utilities Digital Week. Before we get started, I'm Hamizan, your MC for today, and I would like to mention some housekeeping rules for this webinar. All microphones and video of attendees have been muted. If you have any question to ask our speakers, please leave your questions at the questions tab. At the same time, live discussion between the audience is also available at the chat tab. We will have a Q&A sessions after panel discussion. If there is any internet disruption during this webinar, please be patient and try to sign in again. Okay, let's have a look on today's program. We will start off with welcome remarks by our moderator, Yang Mulia Tunku Akmaluddin, Business Development Head of Antah Solar Sdn Bhd, followed by sharing from Encik Ruzlisham bin Maddiah, Deputy Director of Green Technology Division, Malaysian Investment Development Authority, MIDA. Next, second speaker, Mr. Davis Chong, President, Malaysian Photovoltaic Industry Association, MPIA, and followed by Dr. Engineer Guntur Tobang, Group Managing Director of Gading Kencana Sdn Bhd. Last but not least, there will be a panel discussion and Q&A session after the presentation. This webinar aims to end at 3:45 p.m. Thailand time and 4:45 p.m. Malaysia time. Before I hand over to our moderator, Yang Mulia Tunku Akmaluddin, I would like to give a brief introduction of him. Tunku Akmaluddin has 18 years experience in business development, project management, and marketing. Tunku Akmal working tightly with SEDA and relevant authorities to expand Malaysia's markets for solar PV. Tunku Akmal also a representative of the private sector for solar involved in policy making with government agencies. Without further ado, I hand over the floor to our moderator, Yang Mulia Tunku Akmaluddin. The floor is yours now.
Thank you, MC. Welcome everybody to our webinar today. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Tunku Akmal today, the moderator of this webinar. Before the presentation begins, allow me to introduce our speakers who are present today. Mr. Roslin Sham from Malaysian Investment Development Authority, MIDA. Roslin Sham bin Maddiah is appointed as Deputy Director of Green Technology Division of Malaysian Investment Development Authority. He has vast experience in various aspects of the investment industry in MIDA, which is including machinery and metal divisions, Transport Industries Division, and Investment Council and Consulate General of Malaysia in Guangzhou, China. Our second presenter, Mr. Davis Chong, the President of the Malaysian Photovoltaic Industry Association, MPIA, serving in the MPIA committee for 2 terms now. Davis has continuously driving the solar industry in Malaysia forward together with the committee members. And lastly is Dr. Engineer Guntur, the Managing Director of Gading Kencana Sdn Bhd. Dr. Guntur has always looked out for new opportunities. He actively involved in the energy efficiency, renewable energy sector in Malaysia, and acts as lead consultant for development of energy efficiency and renewable energy blueprint for Iskandar Malaysia Development Authority. Without further ado, let's welcome our first speaker, Mr. Rosli Sham bin Maddiah, to deliver the presentation. Mr. Rosli Sham, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Tunku Akmaluddin, Mr. Davis Chong, Datuk Guntur, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Rosli Sham bin Maddiah, Deputy Director of Green Technology Division of MIDA. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer, Informal Market Malaysia, for this opportunity for us to share with all of you about government facilitation on green technology industry, especially MIDA. And for those who are not familiar with MIDA, MIDA is Malaysian Investment Development Authority, was established in 1967. And we are one of the agencies under the Ministry of International Trade and Industry. Next. MIDA is the first point of contact for companies who would like to make investment in Malaysia. We have 5 main important functions, which is promotion. We promote FDI and DDI. We evaluate application for companies for their manufacturing license, incentive, expatriate post and duty exemption for their raw material and component, as well as machinery and equipment, and also principal hub and some selected services project. We also do planning. That means we recommend policies and strategies on industrial promotion and development to our ministry, which is MITI, MOF, and other related ministries. And then we also do monitoring. That means for the licensing and incentive compliance, and also monitoring to determine of effective date of the incentive, and also issuance of final certificate. And then last but not least, we also do post-invest activity, which is we assist companies in their implementation of their operation and their projects. Next. MIDA, we have 20 overseas offices around the world. We have 3 in US, 6 in Europe, 10 in Asia, and also Australia. And then we have also 12 state offices, except Perlis, cover the whole Malaysia. And then our headquarters in MIDA KL Central. Actually, for overseas office, their function is to promote Malaysia and bring in quality investment to Malaysia. And for the state office, they will assist investor to implement their project in Malaysia. And then next. This is the history of our what we call green initiative by government. Actually, Malaysia, we committed under this Paris Agreement 2016 to reduce our greenhouse gas emission by 45% by 2030. And then actually, during Malaysian plan, government already started initiative to what we call under this green initiative, which is we introduce renewable energy as our fifth fuel. Actually, in Malaysia, our renewable energy focusing on this biomass, biogas, mini hydro, and also solar PV. And then that time, our target is about 5% renewable energy in our energy mix lah. And then recently, time to time, the target increased, and recently the government increased the target to 31% renewable energy mix capacity by 2025. Actually, under green initiative, a lot of activity or program that what we call doing by this government, such as FIT, Fit in Tariff, that is by SEDA, net energy metering, also this is for the solar project, also by SEDA, and also large scale solar. Large scale solar, this is under Energy Commission, and also GTFS, this is under MGTC. This is some sort of what we call program that have a lot of what we call participation from our green technology project, especially under solar project. Next. Okay, actually MIDA, we started promoted green technology projects in 2001. That time we are focusing on the renewable energy and also energy efficiency under our PIA Promoted Investment Act 1986. However, in 2014, under budget 2014, the government parked this initiative for green incentive under Income Tax Act 1967. Actually, there are 2 types of incentive covered under this Income Tax Act 1967. First, we call Investment Tax Allowance, or GITA, Green Investment Tax Allowance. This is for project basis. That means if company invest in the renewable energy activity or energy efficiency equipment and so on for the project, for their own use or for business purpose. So they can apply this incentive under ITA. And then another one we call income tax exemption. This is for service provider. That means for service provider that provide service for the green technology industry, such as service provider for solar project, for energy efficiency equipment project, and so on. So they can apply this income tax exemption. And last year, actually for this what we call GITA and GITE, the time period, that time from 2014 until 31st December 2020. But last year, government extended this incentive another 3 years until 31st December 2023. And government also extended ITE lah, for income tax exemption for another activity, which is solar leasing. Okay, next. This is the guideline for the green tech incentive. That means for this green tech incentive, this is for project basis. If company qualify with our requirement, so they can enjoy income tax exemption of 100% of qualifying capital expenditure incurred on green technology project for 3 years from the date of first qualifying capital expenditure incurred, and the allowance can be offset against 70% of statutory income in the year of assessment, and unutilized allowances can be carried forward until they are fully absorbed. This is the guideline for this GITA for the project basis. What type of qualifying activity can apply for this GITA? First, renewable energy. That means if company generate electricity from renewable energy sources such as solar, biomass, biogas, mini hydro, and geothermal, so they can apply for this incentive. Another one, we also have energy efficiency. That means if company invest in energy efficiency equipment that can reduce their electricity bill, power consumption, especially for company invest in this energy efficiency motor, variable speed drive compressor, energy efficiency chiller, and so on. Other than that, we also have green building, green data center, and also integrated waste management. Another incentive we call income tax exemption. This is for solar service provider. That means if they qualify for our requirement, they can enjoy income tax exemption of 70% of statutory income for qualifying green services, where the period of incentive is for 3 years, starting from assessment year and from the first income related to green technology services issued. And then the date of the first invoice shall not be earlier than the date of application received by MIDA. That means for the ITE, it should be for new companies. But for the one group of company, only one company can enjoy for this incentive. If previously they don't enjoy the incentive, so they can have one company lah. But the company should be new company. After they set up the company, they can submit first application to MIDA before incur any capex. If they already issue first invoice, so they cannot what we call entitled for this incentive. This is very important criteria for this extension. Yeah. And then what type of activity qualify for this GITE? First, renewable energy. That means for company, let's say for solar service provider, they can apply for this incentive. Energy efficiency, electric vehicle. This is for the solar for the electrical vehicle charging station lah, and MRO and so on. Green building, green data center, green certification and verification, and also green township. And then another one, what we call activity that provided for this incentive under new budget 2020 is solar leasing, that I say. For company that qualify our what we call criteria, so they can enjoy income tax exemption of 70% on statutory income for solar leasing activity for period of up to 10 years. Assessment. Okay, next. This is the criteria for company who would like to apply for GITA for project basis. First, company must incorporated under the Company Act 2016. That means should be Sdn Bhd or Berhad company. And then company must achieve the following green result: conserve the use of energy, minimize the degradation of environment, and promote health and improve environment. And company which has incurred qualifying capex before application made to MIDA is not eligible for this incentive. This is very important criteria. That means before you start your project, you need to submit first application to MIDA. Then after you get this, what we call acknowledgement letter from MIDA, then you can start the project, or the service provider can issue the tech invoice. This is very, very important criteria for this incentive. And then next, and then for the GITE, this is for service provider, the company must be incorporated under Income Tax Act 2016. That means the same, Sendian Berhad or Berhad company. And then company must meet the following green services criteria. First, employ at least 5 full-time employees, including at least 2 competent personnel in green technology. Company must have a green policy related to environment or sustainability, must have documented SOP, 100% income must derive from respective green technology services, and company must undertake at least 3 qualifying activity from the respective green technology sector. And then the qualifying activities such as they do the feasibility study, and then design assessment, installation, and then settle all of the what we call MRO and so on. This is what we call the qualifying activity for this GITE. Next. And then this is criteria for the solar leasing activity. Company also need to be Malaysian, incorporated under under what we call SSM lah, as a Sendian Berhad and Berhad company. And then at least 60% of the equity of the company must be held by Malaysian, because this initiative is for the local company. That's why we have equity condition there under what we call under this energy commission. And then been verified by SEDA and listed under the registered solar PV investor RPVI by SEDA, and then possess a minimum installed capacity of 3 megawatt solar PV project under NEM or CELCO, and then employ at least 5 full-time employees, including at least 2 competent personnel in green technology. And then the income must be derived from sale of electricity, leasing activity, and then asset must be incorporated in the RPVI balance sheet, because this initiative is under SEDA. So the company need to approach SEDA lah to get the what we call approval from SEDA for them to become a solar leasing company. And then the very important here is company which has undertake solar leasing project and issue the first invoice before application made to MIDA is not eligible for the incentive. That's why this is very important. After company get the approval from SEDA for the solar leasing activity, they need to go to MIDA first before they issue the invoice for their clients. Next. This is the application procedures for company who would like to apply GITA or GITE to MIDA. And then I just to highlight here, starting from 26 March this year, 2021, all application in MIDA, we go online lah under our portal investmalaysia.mida.gov.my. Company need to submit online all application, including manufacturing license, incentive, expatriate post grant, and so on. Then after we receive the application, there are certain process lah. For first-time company that what we call apply to MIDA, they need to register first their company with our system and then get this DG certificate. Normally they need to pay RM300 lah for one DG cert, and then that DG cert can use for 2 years lah. Then they can do application to MIDA, any application lah related to us. After we receive complete what we call information, so we will issue acknowledgement letter. This is very important. Please don't proceed with your project before you receive this acknowledgement letter. Sometime now, because this is new what we call program under this online, so maybe some company delay their acknowledgement letter because the application maybe not complete lah. So after you get this acknowledgement letter, then you can start proceed with your project, or the service provider can issue this tech invoice lah for their client. And then our officer will prepare report and then to table at our Committee on Investment lah, NCI. After what we call approved in this NCI committee meeting, So MIDA will issue the interim approval letter to the company using this online system also. And then next, after company get interim approval from MIDA, they need to do additional process lah. For the project, they need to go to MGTC to determine the effective date of their the incentive, and also to get validation of their project comply with green technology project criteria. And then for services, company also, they need to go to MGTC to determine the effective date of the incentive and assessment year, and then to verify their service is listed under My Hijau Smart Services. And then for solar leasing, they need to go to SEDA to determine the date of the incentive and the assessment year. And then after the company get this, what we call validation letter from this MGTC or from SEDA, so they can submit their tax form to IRB and claim their incentive. And then next, I think that's all my presentation. So I would like to what we call encourage lah company who would like to make investment in this green technology project, especially for solar project, because based on our experience, 80% of application received by MIDA is from this solar PV project, especially this own consumption lah. And then our time for company to apply this incentive only another 2.5 years. And then after this, I think no more extension. This is my gut feeling lah, based on our experience under our committee meeting. So I hope that a company can take this opportunity to make investment in this green technology project, especially solar project. And please make sure you submit first the application to MIDA before you incur any capex. Then I think that's all, Tengku. Back to you, Tengku. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Encik Rosie Sham. Some very interesting things he said on the presentation that I would like to point out. Green energy policies from the Paris Agreement. Everybody, you guys have to remember that this is what we're doing it for. We have this commitment to the environment through this Paris Treaty. And we have carbon credits as well. And, you know, this is a platform for many investors, foreign direct investors or domestic direct investors, maybe oil and gas companies that want to become green and start talking green and start being green. You can join us in the green solar journey. Thank you, Mr. Rosie Sham, and I hope you can extend as long as possible for all our incentives in this green. Thank you so much. May now I invite Mr. Davis Chong, the President of Malaysian Photovoltaic Industry Association, MPIA, for his talk.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Tunku. Thank you, Informa, to invite us to speak on the ASEAN Energy and Utility Digital Week. Okay, first of all, let me introduce a little bit about MPIA. We are from MPIA, Malaysia Photovoltaic Industry Associations. I'm currently the president for MPIA, and we will introduce to you how does it look like for the rooftop solar PV market in Malaysia. Okay, next, please. Okay, first I bring you through the history of solar program in Malaysia, particularly on rooftop. So we're actually back to 2006 that we have Surya 1000, the first solar program in Malaysia for rooftop for residentials, that is start to select 1,000 houses to install with a little bit of incentive and to encourage Malaysians to install solar on their household. Then going into that, I think that's the first breakthrough that Malaysian government have, that we have the feed-in tariff to launch in 2011, which that electricity generated from solar PV system that will be exported to the grid at a premium and paid in cash by the off-taker, which is TMB. So I think a lot of people take on that program and benefited until now, which when the contract years is actually 21 years of the concessions. And until then, we build the 2011 feed-in tariff, and more people know about solar technology, how solar technology works. And we move on to 2016. That's how we evolve to a net energy metering program that launched in 2016 with NEM 1.0, NEM 2.0, and now we have NEM 3.0, which the additional 500 megawatt NEM quota has been provided by the government. That we will come to this. What is the status now for the NEM 3.0? So with this program and quota allocations by the ministry and government of Malaysia, that's how we encourage rooftop solar program in Malaysia. Next, please. Okay, so let's look into the different solar projects. For particularly, we look into the residential model and non-residential model. But with smaller market percentage, that which is from residentials, we can see that how it started from the NEM program in 2016, 2017, it slowly grew 2018, and when we launched the NEM 2.0 with one-to-one offset, is actually grow the market interest very much from 1 megawatt a year to about 3.7 megawatt a year. Then when we almost ending the NEM 2.0 quota, and we launched NEM 3.0, is actually build the market interest from residential market to 20 megawatt. So it's actually building, the interest is building more and more from residential households market as well. And also I think is some reason it due to the solar PV system and installation cost to go down as well in 2020. Okay, so then we move to I think this is where back please. So this is another main market for rooftop that we see when the NEM program to launch that started from 2016 as well. It slowly get attentions of the market in 2019 due to one-to-one offset as well. Other than that, we also can have incentive, which is the tax allowance in Malaysia as well. And due to the end of the NEM 2.0 and the starting of NEM 3.0, you can see the take-up rate for commercial industrial market is actually went up to 426 megawatt a year. So that is a huge breakthrough. Next. Okay, so let's review the latest program in Malaysia for rooftop market, which is NEM 3.0 quota allocations. Other than that, of course, we have self-consumption as well. But mainly this is the most important driver for rooftop market. So we have three categories based on this quota allocation. One is NEM Rakyat, which is for residential so household. NEM Government, which is for government and public buildings. And which another one most importantly being taken finished now is the NOVA program, which is for commercial industrial program. And it's being allocated the biggest quota, 300 megawatt, and government we have 100 megawatt, and Rakyat we have 100 megawatt, which NOVA 300 megawatt has been applied, finished, I think last few days ago. So, and this is currently, I think MPIA is looking to speak with the ministry and to look for the next program that is going to give opportunity to the commercial industrial players to participate in a rooftop PV project as well. Next, please. Okay, so let me give you a few examples. What are the projects that are happening in Malaysia? So we can see that Malaysia has been famously with a lot of multinational manufacturing facilities. One is an example like Goodyear, they have their factory in Malaysia. They also invest on the solar project on their rooftop to reduce the carbon footprint. Another one, we have commercials, buildings like Tesco, which is they're having probably 40 to 50 buildings in Malaysia that they already designed and decided to put, to actually awarded to about 30 buildings to the industry player to do the solar project on their rooftop across Malaysia. And another one is the Keep Mall, is one of the local Malaysia grocery stores and malls. And then they also install the solar PV on their rooftop to reduce the carbon footprint as well. And we have seen many examples. A lot of commercial industrial players adopt renewable energy on their rooftop by now. Okay, so what are the drivers and what is the benefits that actually for any business entity and industrial player to put solar on their rooftop? I think the first thing, when you do a capex model, when you invest the rooftop solar by yourself, you can definitely, I think we introduced by Encik Rosri Sam, you can apply tax incentive GITA and or GITE from the MIDA and Malaysia government. That is the incentive that driving a lot of business entity to adopt renewable energy or solar energy on their rooftop. The second thing, of course, we have proven that, you know, for now, when you install the solar PV on your rooftop, whether it's a capex model, when we use the LCOE based on the 25 years, or we use a PPA model, is proven to be cheaper than your utility rate that you're getting now. Of course, with the price of the solar PV system driving down since many years ago until 2020, and we believe that in long term that the price of the PV system will be actually going down furthermore to make the LCOE or the cost of energy will be cheaper. And with the few years of development with the NEM policy is there, we saw that the financial institution or the banks are offering more and more financing product or solutions to anyone who interested to invest on solar PV system as well. And okay, due to the ESG compliance, I think a lot of international company, they really take this opportunity to build corporate image and branding. Such an example that RE100 company, there are a lot of every year there are more players, more international company into RE100 as well. Okay, so what are models that we have in when you want to install solar PV system? What are the different procurement models that we can have? The first thing, of course, we call it capex model, which is outright purchase, when you can invest by yourself to put with your own equity, with your own cash into the solar PV system. Of course, by doing capex model, you can also utilize bank financing as well. A lot of banks are offering to finance solar PV system now in Malaysia. Another model, which we call solar leasing, that is funded by a third-party investor, and you can replace it by a fixed installment, which agree from the leaser and to the leasing or the building owner. The last one, of course, similar to leasing agreement. You can do it in a solar PPA model, which is also zero capex. You don't need to put up any money, and based on the payment and based on agreeable tariff, then you can actually, based on agreement, to pay to the PPA off-taker as well. So these are the few models that you can actually do it in Malaysia when you want to do solar project on your rooftop. Okay, let's look at the comparison for Malaysia community or Malaysian market. We have 32 million of Malaysian populations, and maybe Australian is about 25 million. So when we compare of the rooftop for solar system, we have about more than around 20,000 buildings. But for Australia, you actually more than 2 million buildings that they can actually put on solar. And let's see the difference. And that's why Australia, that they're able to adopt a lot more solar energy than Malaysian. We can see that how the solar market has been growing very well in Australia as well. Okay, with the Malaysia structure, that we have 3.2 million of residential houses, 450,000 of shop houses, 90,000 of terrace factory, 21,000 of standalone factories, 1,000 of shopping malls, and 5,000 of government buildings to build. And what we see is like the adoption is still very low. I think based on the statistical data, and you can, of course, when the borders open back, when you're able to fly in Malaysia domestically, you can always see how so many rooftop in Malaysia. When you fly from the sky, you can see that they still not installed with solar panels. So we hope that with the market potential, with the program that being pushed from Malaysia government, we can have more building owners, business owners to put solar panels into their rooftop, then to benefit from the cheaper electricity cost as well. Okay, that's the facts and data and the government program and benefits that MPI want to bring to you. That to introduce that we still have so much room to grow in rooftop solar program in Malaysia. And if you have any questions how to invest in Malaysia's rooftop solar program, that you can send your inquiry to MPIA. We'll definitely bring you to connect to the government authorities, to the government agency, and bring you the most accurate market information as well. Thank you. Thanks, Tunku.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Davis, for sharing. Yeah, your presentation opens up a lot of opportunities for investors out there. And just to tell you a little bit about Mr. Davis, he's also a CEO of a newly public listed company in Malaysia, and we're very proud of him getting to that level. And we are hoping that many more companies will be public listed soon as well. So getting on to the next speaker, a very special person that I've known for a long time. I would like to call upon Dr. Engineer Guntur, the Managing Director of Ganding Kencana Sdn Bhd. This man has many assets of solar already, and he is one of the pioneers out there. That's why these people are all out here speaking. Dato, please help us deliver your presentation.
Hi.
Hi, Dato. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you very much, Tunku, for the kind introduction. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Datuk Guntur. My company is Ganding Kencana Sdn Bhd. We have been in solar PV business for the last 28 years. It's been journey up and down and very exciting journey in solar. And I hope I can share with you more exciting news about what the outlook of solar PV industry in Malaysia. This is our solar farm, the largest solar. This is our solar farm in Bidor. This is 30 megawatt solar farm. Our company was started in 1993. We have 28 years of experience in solar, and our asset is now worth about 500 million, and our revenue is about 1 billion until 2020. Until the next 21 years, we are four-star CIDB G7 contractor, meaning we can do the largest. We have the largest license to execute project in Malaysia. We have 70 committed staff, and we have also 4 GCPV designer, competent person to design the system. If you can see here, this land is about 98 acres, and we complete a 30 megawatt, 37.5 megawatt capacity within a land size of 80 acres of land, because we have to make provision for buffer zone, for on-site detention pond, and all the requirement by the local authority. So next, please. This is a map of Malaysia, and this is the location of our solar farm. We have got 2 solar farm right now. The first one is the feed-in tariff solar farm in Melaka. It is an 8 megawatt. The second one is the large-scale solar. We bid for the first large-scale solar and we won. So the feed-in tariff system is connected to a 33 kV substation, while the second solar farm, the 30 megawatt, is connected to a 132 kV national grid system. At the moment, we are constructing another 30 megawatt solar farm under the Neo Enhanced Dispatch Arrangement. Is a NEDA kind of thing. In Singapore, they call it energy market. So it's very exciting. And then the other project that we are developing right now is a 3 megawatt hydroelectric, also located somewhere in Bidor. We are fortunate that our project are all located almost nearby each other within the about 10-kilometer distance. So we can manage from one center in Perak. Next, please. So if you look at the resource potential in Malaysia, there are a few types of renewable energy. The first one is solar, biogas, biomass, and small hydro, large hydro, and geothermal. So what you see there, the biggest opportunity is in solar, where in Semenanjung, in Peninsular Malaysia, there is a potential for 137.5 gigawatt capacity, which can be constructed. And then you have 2.2 gigawatt for bioenergy, 3.1 gigawatt for large hydro system, and you have 1.7 gigawatt for geothermal. But geothermal, we are because since we are not in the ring of the we are not inside the ring of the mountains, the active mountain, so it may not be very efficient for the time being. But for small hydro, we have 162 megawatt potential to be developed. While in Sabah, we have 99.4 gigawatt for solar, and the rest of the potential for renewable energy, as well as in Sarawak, about 32.1 gigawatt. So Malaysia there's a vast opportunity for us to develop solar energy for the use of the electricity consumption, for the energy mix in the system. Next. So if we see here, the latest statement by the government is that Malaysia aims to increase RE from 6% to 31% by 2025 and 40% by 2035. So we started from 2012, where we started with the feed-in tariff mechanism. So the feed-in tariff mechanism has the domestic, non-industry and industrial type. And then in 2017, we started the large-scale solar. So we introduced a capacity of 500 megawatt a year. And then we also introduced the new enhanced dispatch arrangement, where a mechanism you can sell electricity without power purchase agreement. And then you are using system marginal price as a mechanism. And then in 2018, another LSS, large-scale solar number 2, with 500 megawatt capacity being auctioned, being tendered out. And then in 2019, another large-scale solar 3, 500 megawatt. This time the maximum capacity per bidding is 100 megawatt, so only 5 successful bidder. And then in 2020, we have LSS4, 1,000 megawatt. So the demand for bidding in solar farm in Malaysia is so high and so competitive that every time we open up the tender, there are about 100 companies who submit a bid with local partners, and the demand is increasing from time to time. Next. So if you look at the Malaysia power demand, the Malaysia power demand is about 18,000 megawatt capacity that we have. During the COVID-19 period, the demand went down to only about 11,000 megawatt. But now the demand is increasing again from slowly picking up with our MCO, RMCO, and so on. So we're managing that part. And then if you look at the chart on the right-hand side, you see we have a day-ahead forecast demand. Day-ahead forecast demand is also falling to about 16,000 to 20,000 megawatt. Demand. So with this demand, it indicates that the economy, although we are in the although we are in the recovery period, but the energy demand is still in the increasing side. So it gives a very good sign that economic recovery will be coming up very soon. And as far as large-scale solar program is concerned, in the beginning, market was very slow, but as of now, the large-scale solar, the demand is very high, and it become very much competitive. So in LSS1, when we first do, the lowest price bidded was 39 cents per unit, per kilowatt hour. And then when during the LSS2, the lowest price was about 33 cents, 33.98 cents. In LSS3, the lowest was about 17.78. And in LSS4, the latest one is about 13.99 cents. So you can see that the market in Malaysia is as good as global market, very competitive. And we have the local talent to be able to do the installation for you. And everybody in the world are coming and submit a bid because the size are competitive. We have 30 megawatt, 50 megawatt, and LSS3 we have 100 megawatt. So it is really very exciting, technological wise, and so on. So if you look at the pie chart on the left hand side, you could see that there are at the moment sector contribution to power demand. You have 41% industry, 35% commercial, and you have 2%. You have 2% the domestic, about 22%. So the mix of the pie is clearly showing that the commercial and industrial demand is still very high. So it's still a very good market for you to come into this into the solar market in Malaysia. Okay, next please. So interestingly, because the whole world is moving toward from a long-term contract like power purchase agreement into a non-PPA market, so the system marginal price is very interesting. System marginal price is a price where you make settlement of the sales of energy from the power plant to the utility at the supply and demand requirement. So meaning that if the price at that particular instant moment is certain value, so that is the price that you pay. So it is more exciting to look into this market because number one, the government can unlock the long-term commitment to buy for so long, but it is giving a lot more opportunity for the market for the merchant market to invest and to predict what is the demand, and it is even a better rate than you lock yourself at the lowest rate that you get in the large scale solar. Okay, next. So what are the challenges that we are facing in developing large scale solar? You know, one plant 30 megawatt will cost about 150 million and so on. So number one, the challenges are happy capital upfront lead. Yeah. So in order for you to invest in this kind of project, is very heavy capital upfront capital. Number two, high equity portion upfront. The bank, although they give loan, but they don't give 100% loan. So you still have to come up with your own equity for certain amount, 20 to 30% in order to make the project viable. And then high bank loan interest rate. Well, this one is before the COVID, but now with COVID, the rate are going down to, in Malaysia, the rate is very low. It's going down to below 4%, from 7.8 to 4.9%. So it's very exciting tariff interest rate spectrum that you have. The low tariff lead to low IRR. Well, while we see a low tariff, but the cost of the equipment is also very low. So for example, when I construct my solar farm in Melaka in 2014, it cost me about 11.7 million per megawatt. When I construct my solar farm in Aeudw, it cost me about 5.7 million per megawatt in 2018. And today, when the tariff is so low that I share with you just now, so the cost is going even lower. But the opportunity to share the profit and share the competitiveness of the solar energy offer, the LCOE, is still very good and very good and very exciting for the country. So you can issue sukuk. There are also a few Islamic sukuk being raised over here. There are also term loan. There are also financing that is being offered. And then high cost to raise loan via merchant bank. So you have to if you hire a merchant bank, is even better. So at least more secure. They speak the bankers language, but you have to put that the cost of merchant bankers into the cost so that you can cover the cost. And then high cost for interconnection to the grid. So in Malaysia, compared to other countries, the cost of interconnection to the grid will have to be borne by the developer. So that is a challenge over there. And then the last one is high RRR required by government-linked investment bodies. So in bidding, submit a bid for the power plant, you need to come up with your business model. In the business model, there are specific requirements that you must do. So by doing this kind of complete business model, so the government will be assured that the project will be successful and the project will be sustainable for the next 21 years during the contracted period of time. Okay, next please. Now, besides having those challenges, there are also a lot of incentives that we have. Number one, as Encik Rosrizam has explained about the investment tax allowance, investment tax allowance that is available. Number two, we also have a green tech financing scheme. So this green tech financing scheme is a program where government provides 60% guarantee and 2% discount on interest rate. So imagine if you take 100 million loan, so the government guarantees 60% of it. And this guarantee can come either from Credit Guarantee Corporation or it can come from Dana Jamin. So you just need to pay a fee for them and then they will give you the guarantee to the bank. In case this loan fail, then these two body will guarantee you. So this is a very strong impact on the financing of the loan because you have a guarantee for this amount by these two agencies, CGC and Dana Jamin. I think in the LSS4 forward, we are talking about Dana Jamin because the size of the loan is more than 100 million. So Dana Jamin can take up the amount. And then we have MIDA, Cik Ruslan has explained. We have LHDN who provide the tech incentive. And we also have Green Tech Financing Scheme, Green Tech Corporation Malaysia, where they provide the Green Tech, where they provide the investment tax allowance, where they provide the GTFS facility. So I have summarized here that if feed-in tariff mechanism, you have RE Act, we have SEDA Act, and then you have Net Energy Metering, we have Electric Supply Act, and large-scale solar, we have Suruhanjaya Tenaga, also under Electric Supply Act. Now, the advantage we enjoy in Malaysia is because the biggest advantage that we enjoy in Malaysia is because our off-taker, Tenaga Nasional Berhad, is a AAA company. So if you bring our power purchase agreement to talk to anybody in the world, so because the off-taker is a AAA company, so it's very straightforward, very easy. So the loan provider is more comfortable to disburse a loan for you. So if you are from outside the Malaysia, you want to invest in Malaysia, this is the best time for you to come. Yeah. Okay, next, please. All right, this is a technical challenge. Well, although we want to have the biggest energy transition index in the country, but we are also very aware about the grid stability. Yeah, when we started we expect to achieve 30% by 2025, and we see from here that in 2025, if we touch 30%, so there will be about 5,952 megawatt capacity connected to the grid. Yeah, at this point, there may be some interruption in the stability of the national grid. So stability zone is the yellow zone that you see over there. Before there, you have more than 20%, 27% dispatch of coal generator affected. So you have 33% and 38% load shedding zone. If we don't do anything now, this will come this problem will appear coming. And then if we move at the 40% RE penetration into the national grid, then you have stability issue and you may have to impose curtailment zone. Now, I want to share with you, in Malaysia, so far, there has been no curtailment at all. You generate, whatever you generate, you sell to the grid and the grid will pick it up. Yeah, but there are some other countries which I've read the power purchase agreement, there are curtailment anytime. Whenever they see your generation is too much, the grid is not able to take up the extra energy, so they just curtail you. They say, no, I don't want to buy your energy at this moment. But in Malaysia, you buy all. And the preemptive work, meaning the preparation of the national grid operator, the GSO, is very prudent in the sense that before things happen, we are already preparing for it. So in order to maintain stability of the grid, there are a lot of things that need to be done, like battery, like something to do, because solar, the generation of solar is not coming straight. If you put 30 megawatt, you don't get 30 megawatt from 9 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the afternoon. No. In the morning, you get about 20%, and your biggest hours that you get the peak sun hours is from 11 to 3. So during that period of time, you have a good curve. However, suddenly while you have a good curve, suddenly there is a rain. So there is a dip in the power. So with the dip, then you have then the grid service operator will have to call the energy from thermal plant in order to support the shortage that you have at the moment to supply for the demand. So it is very exciting. So this report this study has been done by the authority. So we are all aware of this, and we are preparing for what's next to do after solar. Okay, next. Now, technical challenges is not common. Like our company, we have collaboration with University UiTM, we have with UTHM, you have with University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, and we have with UKM. We sign an MOU, we do research, we develop together, we train our people. So the technical challenges we have here, number one, is solar PV degradation issue. Although the data sheet say degradation is 0.75, but we experience on plant more than that. So we have to do something. And then power-induced degradation. The power-induced degradation was not expected to be so bad, but it happened. But with the new technology of the PERT technology, so it is able to minimize this impact. And then hotspot. Yeah? We have IV curve, we have thermal scanner to detect hotspot. Micro cracks, yeah? Sometimes it falls, you don't see it with naked eye, but after 3-4 years, then the micro crack will become a hotspot.
Sorry, Dato', can we just pick it up a little bit?
Okay. Next slide, last one. Okay, last one. Move next one. Okay. So in order to prepare for the future, the next one, we have energy storage and management system. As we know that, as I showed you just now, in that particular column of grid instability, so what do we need to do? The energy storage system will have to come in, and research is being done on this subject matter. And hopefully the result can be applicable by the end of this year or end of next year, then we will not have this problem anymore. So next slide, please. Okay, thank you very much, Tunku. Sorry for taking a bit longer, but there's so much to share with the audience. Thanks.
Yes, Dato'. I mean, you have a lot to say. I get you, you know what I mean? But our program is just a little bit short. So we have just a little bit of time just to do some Q&A. All right. So as the questions are coming in, I'm going to give everybody one simple question each. Okay. For Encik Rose Hisham, for Maida, what are our plans that we have after GITA and GITE? What can we be looking for in the future after this campaign is all over for the tax exemptions?
Thank you, Tengku, for this good question. Actually, of course, for this incentive, this is one of the driver for the develop our green technology project in Malaysia, especially for this solar system. Like I said before, 80% of application received by MIDA all from this solar PV project and own consumption, because now people already acknowledge about this, what we call good technology lah. They can reduce their electricity bill and then come with this clean energy. However, like I say, for this incentive, we have time period. That means after we extend another 3 years until 31st December 2020, I think not easy for us to extend further, because this industry, for the especially for solar system, this is we can consider as what we call already established, because everybody know about the solar. So maybe for others, what we call initiative, maybe from government lah, especially from KEXA and also KASA, maybe they will form other what we call initiative lah to support this solar system in Malaysia. But for MIDA, we will assist any what we call development for the industry, especially for the manufacturing activity lah. If company would like to expand their project in Malaysia to what we call manufacture any green project, especially for solar system, solar equipment, and so on, and also other what we call green initiative, especially for the manufactured this green technology in Malaysia. That's all from me, Tengku.
Okay, thank you, Encik Rosli Sham. Next, for the next question, I'm plowed in two questions at once. It's from Mr. Davis.
Hi, Tengku.
It's from Esther. So I'm going to plow question 1 and question 7. Any reasons why not many takers applying for residential quota under NEM in Malaysia? And the part 2 question is for people staying in apartments in Malaysia, is there any rules that regulate the PV installation at our apartment unit? So maybe if she wants to put it on her balcony or something and she wants to do it there. So yeah, can we do that?
Okay, I think I come to the first question first. In the past, of course, it's a challenging for residentials to take up the NEM program, because when the price it is still expensive, then I think for break-even years without any incentive for household owners or individual installations, that is about 8 years to 10 years of break-even. So I think in the past few years that nobody, I think until last year, that the panel price is really going down from 30 over cents to 20 over cents per watt US dollar. So that makes up, like, you know, break-even time for individual household is going to 6 to 7 years. So people starting showing interest that you can see like a 20 megawatt that being taken up. That's why I think from now it's still about the same that break-even time. So it's a good time for the residential's owner to really look into solar PV projects. Now you want to install it with your own savings, with your own cash. Of course, it's good. But if you want to do it with the bank facilities, there are a few banks that are actually providing this loan for solar PV system. I think I can give you some tips that they are using like credit card system for you to make it become a monthly payment while you're installing the PV system. So there are a few banks that are having this. If you need more information, of course, you can look for MPIA. We can let you know what other programs from the bank. Due to the break-even time, and of course, there's no incentive from our government to individual house owners, and we keep on asking every year to hope that we have some personal tax relief from any household that they install solar PV system. That is still in progress. That I think every time that we have the wish list for MOF on the budget, we are putting this in. Okay, so to the second question, I think it will be more realistic to install solar panel system on the rooftop of the apartment rather than your balcony, because your balcony most likely you will be shaded, and it's not that practical in terms of the technology to use it. Of course, I don't think is practical because it's a strata title. You need to get the consent of the JMB to install in the common area, which is probably the balcony there, or even in the rooftop of the apartment. But most of some of the example, we see that the JMB work with the service provider to install on the rooftop, then to reduce the electricity of the common area, and then it reduce the management fee of the apartment management. So that will be one kind of a model that apartment can use solar PV system.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Davis. So the last question now is for Dato. And the question is, what are the government's policies and incentives to encourage the growth of the solar industry, especially for small-scale players in industrial and commercial business?
Oh. Government policy in terms of solar is very clear. They have put it up 6,000 megawatt, and then we are going through. the process. For small player, the government has have structured a proper installer training program, so that we have a reliable installer company to be able to do the installation. So not simply anybody can come in. So if you want to start a business, a small time business into the solar business, I would suggest you go into an installer first. After you do the installation, then after you do the installation and supply a small system, then you can slowly build it up. I took 28 years to be where I am today, from installing off-grid, and then the small one, and then the Surya 1000, and then, so because I'm alone, so I'm an SME, I'm alone, and I'm still SME. So that's how I started. And I'm sure if anybody want to come into this business, we can come into this together. And this is the right time for you to start, because the quota for domestic is still about 90 over megawatt left. So if you promote, you sell, and then awareness is being done by the installation by MPIA and installer company to promote solar. So you come in, you sell to residential house, you make comfortable margin on a small system. As I've shared with you, the large scale solar, the price are very, very competitive. So it's professional player who is playing in those markets. But for the small player, it is still open. It is still very very forgiving. In other words, it's very forgiving. You can start, you can earn a good living, and you can build up your competency. Because I'm very happy to share that the talent development that we do in Malaysia is at par or better than any other country in the world. So if you have the GCPB, if you have the certificate from our SEDA standard, you can use the same certificate and do installation in other countries. You go to Indonesia, you go to Thailand, Singapore, Brunei. So we are using the same standards. So easy for us to get work permit to do the installation for solar. So I think this is the best time for small player. You can come in, start, be installer, go and attend the installation, get a certificate installer. Then from there you can do the proper installation. Well, although we say DC system is small, but I have seen installation where it burns out, because you forget that DC has got positive and negative, and you put the wrong one, it just go on fire. So problem. I'm sure you have seen installation in other part of the country, like the floating solar who suddenly collapse. Not in Malaysia, of course not in Malaysia. So we read from other people's mistakes that improve ourselves, so that we can do a better system in order to provide the best service to our consumer and our customers.
Thank you very much, Dato.
Thank you.
Very encouraging words for a man who's saying business is now open for even smaller people. We don't have to go large scale. Every PV counts. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you again, Encik Rosie Sham, Mr. Davis, and Dato Dr. Engineer Guntur for answering the questions and for the best presentation as well as panel discussion. It was a pleasure to have you with us. Apologies if we were not able to answer all questions. We don't have enough time, but maybe the next time we'll try to make more time. So lastly, I would like to have each speaker just to contribute a little final wrap up on this session. Maybe we can start with Rosie Sham.
Okay, thank you, Tengku. So I think this is time for this all of the companies that would like to invest in solar project. As I said that our incentive balance another 2.5 years lah. So please submit your application to MIDA and make sure you submit application before incur any capex. This is very, very important. What we call advice, because based on our experience, still there are some companies they don't what we call aware about our new guideline. Some of them they already incur capex, or sometimes they already pay deposit to their service provider. So for MIDA, based on our requirement, we cannot entertain that application lah. So we need to reject. So please make sure you submit application to MIDA before incur any capex lah. Okay, I think that's all for me, Tengku.
All right. Okay, Mr. Davis, any last words for you for this presentation, this webinar today?
Yeah, I think I echo Datuk words and Encik Rusli Lambert. Malaysia is a very encouraging market right now, whether it's for the FDI or for the local domestic investment. I think we also encourage more and more people, business entity, individual household, or big investment IPP look into renewable energy, solar energy particularly. You know, we have very, very encouraging policy, tax incentive systems, and also a lot of talents that local talents that are able to make the solar industry to be successful. Thank you.
And lastly, Dato, any wise words for all of us out there before we wrap up?
Okay, thank you, Tunku. I have a few points. Number one, solar is power supply is a very regulated business in the country. So in order to make sure there is no disruption, there's no interruption, we have good power quality, we know load shedding, nothing. So that's why the government with Tenaga Nasional, they're really very seriously looking into managing this one. Yeah. So meaning that if you want to be in this business, there's no shortcut. You must become a licensed installer, you must go for training, and the regulation are consistent. If the Electric Supply Act say this, so it has to follow through the whole process. So that's number one about the regulation. Regulated business is good, that no cowboy and nobody can fly by night business and so on. So it's secure. The customer is very secure. Number two, I can see here that local product. So we want to see more local product, more talent to develop local product, so that MIDA can give some incentive so we can have the local product and so on. And R&D facility. When I talk to university, there are a lot of R&D. And I know that a lot of other companies in Malaysia also having a collaboration with universities to develop product, to do training and so on. This is very encouraging. And if you just want to share with you, Malaysia is the second largest solar panel manufacturer. We have the giant manufacturer are investing in Malaysia. We have First Solar, we have QCell, Hanwha, we have Longi, we have Jinko, we have everything. And congratulations, Jerusalem. Ryzen has come in with 42 billion ringgit and about 30,000 employment opportunity. So solar can really make a lot of difference in Malaysia, especially when we try to reset or restart the economy. So this is very interesting, a very exciting time to look into resetting the industry and giving more opportunity for solar to build up the business, build out the economy, and increase the GDP, so that we can be at par. We can be back as before COVID in the shortest time possible. That's all, Tunku.
Thank you very much, Dato. Just to end this, to tell all the participants, if you want to enter into this business, come and join us at MPIA, Malaysia Photovoltaic Industry Association. We have all the solutions there. All our members are there. We have manufacturers, insurance, SIs, every aspect of solar business is in our association. So come and join us, shake hands with us, make friends with us, and find out what are your best opportunities and options in our own country of Malaysia and to do business here. For FDIs, people also coming, you can join us as well. Many foreign companies are also in MPIA. So once again, thank you for attending today's webinar. I hope we learned a lot today and enjoyed this presentation. I'll hand you over to the floor to the MC. Thank you.
Thank you, Tunku.
Thank you, Tunku. Thank you, the panelists. On behalf of Informa Markets Malaysia, thank you, Tunku Akmaluddin, on moderating this webinar, and our speakers, Mr. Rusli Sham, Mr. Davis Chong, and Datuk Guntur, for your informative yet insightful sharing. Thank you, everyone, for tuning, and I hope you enjoyed today's session. A recorded version of today's webinar will be available on demand. Coming up next, you are invited to join a webinar titled ASEAN Bioenergy at 4:15 p.m. Thailand time. You are required to leave this room and select the session in the conference hall to attend the webinar. At the same time, visit Marketplace from today until Friday, 9 July 2021. The live chat and video call function is available on 6 and 7 July for you to connect with over 250 exhibiting companies on Marketplace. Grab your chance to connect with the industry players. This year, ASEAN Super 8 will be featured in hybrid format with both face-to-face and virtual connect exhibition, conferences, webinar, business matching, and networking activities. The physical exhibition will be held on 9th until 11th November 2021 at Malaysia International Trade Exhibition Centre, MITEC, and Virtual Connect exhibition from 1 until 30 November 2021. ASEAN Super 8 features various niche segments including power and energy, hatchback, building and construction, safety and security, lift, escalator, and solar and lighting. At the same time, you may visit our Traders Connect, which we have launched last year. The Traders Connect serves as a platform for the trade buyers to source for exhibitors' latest products and technology, connect and network, and the platform available 24/7. Visit www.super8asean.com. Lastly, we would like to invite you to join our community by scanning at the QR code on the screen. Follow us on ASEAN Super 8 Facebook, LinkedIn, and also Instagram to receive our latest information. Once again, thank you for joining the webinar. Stay tuned at ASEAN Energy and Utilities Digital Week website for other webinar and conferences. Till then, have a nice evening. Goodbye.